Hey y'all, Natalie Milam here, the dope trauma therapist, and I want to come to you guys today to talk about an issue that we oftentimes sweep up under the carpet, all in the awareness of Child Abuse Prevention Month. So, incest, which is the sexual molestation of a child by an adult or by even another child who is at least 2 years of age or older than the kid is. So molestation does not have to just be penetration. A lot of times we think about rape or we think that molestation is just penetration. It is also fondling. It can be that older cousin that's walking by and that's rubbing his private parts up against the younger cousin. And it doesn't have to be a guy that's doing this to a girl. It can also be an adult woman that's doing it to a little boy. It can be an older teen cousin that's doing it to a little boy or a little girl. It can be a number of things. It can be fondling with that child's breast or other genital areas or even their behind. What often happens, especially what I've seen a lot of times in the African American community, is that we say what happens in this house stays in this house. Another thing that I see is that we oftentimes get into victim blaming and victim shaming, calling that child, calling a little girl fast. She's too fast. She's wearing, short clothes. She's always talking to all the boys, or calling a little boy mannish because of his behaviors. When in fact, it's not the behaviors that we should be concerned about. It's what's underlying that. It's really the molestation and the incest. A lot of times there are even parents who molest their kids. And what we tend to do or what happens with the children is that they begin to internalize that and believe that it's their fault. They believe that they don't matter. A lot of times they start to engage in risky behaviors that are sexual in nature. And what they need is a safe space. So if your child has come to you and told you that somebody has touched them inappropriately, made them feel uncomfortable in a sexual manner, then a few things that you can do. The very first thing is to provide a safe space and validate that child's feelings. Let them know that you absolutely believe them. Number two, take that child into an emergency department so that they can get evaluated and so that the process can begin to start for that person to be prosecuted. The absolute worst thing that you can do is to protect the person who has violated your child. That is the worst thing that you can do in this type of a situation. Then take them into a location where they can be interviewed. So there would be a forensic interview that's done typically by like a counselor or a social worker. And that is the only time that child should have to tell that story to like an official person. That information gets recorded and it gets used in the prosecution proceedings. So again, validate, validate, validate. Make sure that your child knows that you believe them. And then just be mindful and be cognizant and be very selective about who you're leaving your children with. What you do not want to do is to put them in harm's way. And the fact is that most people who are sexually assaulted that is done at the hands of somebody that they know. Okay. I'd love to hear your comments in the chat box. Let me know what you think.